A football legend turned Hollywood icon, OJ Simpson's rise to fame was meteoric, but his fall was catastrophic because on a brutal night in June of 1994, fame quickly turned into infamy. In the peaceful town of Brentwood, California, two bodies were found, slaughtered to death. Those were the bodies of Ron Goldman and OJ Simpson's ex-wife. Witness accounts and blood traces found at the scene all pointed to OJ being guilty. And just like that, his whole life fell apart. But why didn't OJ Simpson go to jail? To understand how he got away with murder, we need to start by getting to know OJ. OJ Simpson, aka The Juice, was more than just a football star. He was a cultural icon. In '73, he shattered NFL records, rushing over 2,000 yards in a single season, earning him a spot in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He made millions from commercial deals, landing roles in hit movies like The Naked Gun.
Hey, I saw a kid in Minneapolis fight once.
Whoa! Oh, Frank, everyone should have a friend like you.
Everything OJ touched turned to gold, but the real prize was his girlfriend, Nicole Brown. They started dating when she was just 18 years old, and OJ was still married to his first wife. A few years later, he married Nicole, and they had their first child together. But it wasn't until New Year's Day in 1989 that a call to police revealed her deepest fears.
911 emergency.
Can you get someone over here now to 325 Gretna Green? He's back. Please.
Well, okay, what does he look like?
He's OJ Simpson. I think you know his record. Could you just send somebody over here?
Okay, what is he doing there?
He just drove up again.
He just drove up.
Over.
Okay, wait a minute, what kind of car is he in?
He's in a white Bronco, but first of all, he broke the back door down to get in.
Okay, wait a minute, what's your name?
Nicole Simpson.
Okay, just stay on the line.
I don't want to stay on the line. He's going to beat the shit.
Wait a minute.
OJ shocked everyone when he attacked Nicole, leaving her battered, bruised, and terrified for her life. But in 1992, it was OJ who filed for divorce, exposing that his love might have been abused from the start. He stalked her long after their split until she reported him to the authorities. But this time, it was too late. 5 days later, Ron and Nicole were dead. They met while working at the same restaurant, but their friendship was hard to accept for OJ, who was still possessive. Nicole was found dead at her door, with severe wounds cutting into her spine, and Ron was stabbed multiple times in the neck and scalp. With Simpson being 6'1" and 211 pounds, it's easy to see how he took them both down in a jealous rage. But how was OJ able to pull off the murders so quickly? Let's look at the official timeline to find out it was planned from the start. After their daughter's school show, OJ and Nicole go separate ways. At 6:30 p.m., Nicole and her family dine at Mezzaluna. At 8 p.m., dinner ends, and they stop for ice cream on their way home. By 9:15 p.m., OJ and his friend Kato Kalin go for dinner at McDonald's. By 9:45 p.m., they're both back at the Simpson residence, and Kalin returns to Simpson's guest house. At 10:15 p.m., a neighbor heard worrying noises from Nicole's house, and OJ's limo driver arrived at his home at 10:25 p.m. At 10:40 p.m., Kalin hears suspicious thumping noises outside his guest house. At 11 p.m., the limo driver spots a tall figure near the house. By 11:15 p.m., OJ emerges and starts loading his luggage in the limo for his trip. Kalin comes outside to help him pack his bags. OJ instructs Kalin not to touch one of the bags. By 11:45 p.m., Simpson leaves for the airport, and at 12:10 a.m., the bodies of Nicole and Ron are discovered. On June 17th, the LA police issued an arrest warrant for OJ Simpson.
A thorough examination and analysis of the physical evidence, both here and in Chicago, sought and obtained a warrant for the arrest of OJ Simpson, charging him with the murders of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Lyle Goldman
in connection to the murders. And when he heard the news, OJ fled in a white Ford Bronco, driven by his friend A.C. Cowlings, like in a scene from the Wild West.
Top of the screen, heading east on that freeway, are just slowing down to look and get a glimpse of one of the icons of American sports history, O.J. Simpson.
The 2-hour slow-speed chase hooked over 95 million viewers, with O.J. sitting in the passenger seat holding a gun to his head.
911, what are you reporting?
This is AC. I have OJ in the car.
Okay, where are you?
Please, I'm coming up the 5 freeway.
Okay.
Right now, we are okay, but you gotta tell the police to just back off. He's still alive, but he got a gun to his head.
Okay, hold on a minute.
The chase eventually led him back home. where he had had a glass of orange juice. But the big question is still, how did OJ escape conviction? Let's continue to unpack that by examining the evidence that links him to the murders. When the trial began, OJ seemed to have it all: money, influence, and a dream legal team to keep him out of trouble. With a warrant hanging over him, OJ's lawyer, Robert Kardashian, shocked everyone by reading what seemed like a suicide note live on TV. The move gained him sympathy from the public and gave him an escape route if things didn't go its way. But his violent past with Nicole hinted at a motive for the murders, painting an ugly picture of his character. Then there were his strange actions before the killings. Remember the bag he loaded before heading to Chicago? It disappeared.
There was a bag that was ready to be packed, and he said, "Don't touch this bag." And that bag was never found.
And nobody knew what was in it. And his alibi was not convincing. Even his driver spotted a mysterious figure who was OJ's height. This only made suspicions of his guilt worse. And the real shocker, there was blood everywhere. At the crime scene, in OJ's car, all over his house. But it was the infamous bloody glove that was found at the scene, and another behind his house, that grabbed the nation and the courtroom. So, how did he slip through the cracks and walk away free? When they discovered his DNA on a glove at Nicole's home, it seemed like OJ's luck had run out. But in court, things took a turn. His opposition was so sure they had caught him this time that they made him try on the gloves right there in front of the jury. But when the gloves didn't fit, his lawyer, Johnny Cochran, dropped the famous line, "If it doesn't fit, you must acquit."
If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
And swung the favor right back in OJ's direction. It was the moment that changed everything. But did the gloves tell the whole story? Some claimed his lawyers told OJ to stop taking his arthritis meds so that his hands would swell. Others suggested the gloves had shrunk during forensic testing. Either way, OJ's legal team had a plan, and it was working. But what really tipped the scales was how OJ's dream team exploited ongoing racial tensions against the LAPD. Their story painted OJ as a victim of racial targeting by the police, which swayed the jury, especially when Detective Mark Furman, who was working on the case, was caught lying under oath and using racial slurs.
Anything out of a mouth for the first 5-6 sentences is why.
OJ's legal team pulled out all the stops to paint him as innocent. They even got to cherry-pick the jury. Narrowing down 900 potential jurors, they chose a mostly black jury, knowing they were more likely to side with OJ. Finally, on October 2nd, 1995, after hours of deliberation, the jury reached a verdict. The next day, OJ Simpson was acquitted, clearing him of both murder charges.
Orenthal James Simpson, not guilty of the crime of murder.
After OJ got away with murder, even his friends and lawyers began to doubt the verdict. Until, in 2007, he hit the headlines again for a Vegas hotel armed robbery. But his charm didn't cut it this time.
I didn't mean to steal anything from anybody, and I didn't know I was doing anything illegal. I thought I was confronting friends. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry for all of it.
Simpson was slammed with a guilty verdict and an 8-year jail sentence.
Conspiracy to commit a crime, a gross misdemeanor offense. Conspiracy to commit kidnapping, a felony offense.
Conspiracy to commit a crime, guilty.
Most recently, in April of 2024, OJ passed away.
OJ Simpson, the former NFL star who was found not guilty of the double murder of his ex-wife and her friend in 1995 in one of the most notorious trials in modern history, has died at age 76.
But what do you think? Was justice served? Let us know in the comments. And if you like this video, subscribe so you don't miss the next one.